What a draft. The most hyped draft in years was a roller coaster to say the least, setting up for a crazy rest of the NBA offseason. Night 1 started off slow, with the first 4 picks being what everyone had expected, and then the craziness began. We had teams making some head-scratching picks, some players rising and some falling, and one team making me say, actually, what the actual... I'll get into that then. In this video, I'm going to break down what I thought was the good, the bad, and the of the 2025 NBA draft. The is an epic rant. You're gonna want to stay for that. First, let's start with the good, and there was a lot of good, and we're gonna start simple. Flag to the Mavs. Awesome. Harper picked by the Spurs. We love that. Kneppel staying in North Carolina and being picked by the Hornets is a perfect fit. Those were a given. Now let's hit some other picks that I actually really liked. Carter Bryant slipping to the 14th pick in San Antonio is such a Spursy thing to happen. I can see this being a sit for a year or so developing his game, then being an absolute stud next to Wemby, Harper, and Steph Castle. Atlanta trading back, getting a lottery talent, and one big asset was a great play for them. Asa Newell has his flaws, but he plays his ass off and is a really good athlete, and another defender and finisher to surround Trae Young with. If they can get his jumper better, watch out. Oh, and the extra asset they got? More on that later. My last good is for the Utah Jazz. First, they took the best player available at the 5th pick in Ace Bailey. His team had made attempts to force their way to specific teams later in the draft, but the Jazz didn't care. They see his talent and think they can get the most out of him. Utah doesn't sign stars, they have to draft them, so this was their attempt to draft their dude that's needed to win. Then they took one of my favorite players in this draft, the most outstanding player in the Final Four, Walter Clayton Jr. Yes, they have drafted 2 point guards in recent drafts, but they are not as good as Clayton Jr., flat out. New Jazz GM Austin Ainge said recently that the team is done tanking, they are ready to start winning, and drafting these two is a great way to start that process. Now, let's get into some bads. I like Jaeger Demon. I think he is going to be a good pro, but not at the 8th pick, especially for the Brooklyn Nets, who had 5 first-round picks. Why reach when you had the ammunition to go get him later, and to make things worse, they drafted 3 more point guards. The Nets know we play with only one ball in the NBA, right? Now, we all have our types, and the Toronto Raptors definitely have theirs. In a vacuum, I like the player they picked at 9 in Colin Murray-Boyles. I just don't like him on this team. All the things that he does well, other players on the Raptors do well too, and his limitations are the same as Toronto's players already. This is a very redundant pick in my eyes. For a team that needs some offensive juice and shooting, they picked the exact opposite of that. My last bad is a sad one for me. Chicago, come on. You finished the season great last year. You have some really good young guys in Josh Giddey and Modest Buzelis, and the rumors of going for Golden State's Jonathan Kuminga gave me some extra excitement for next season. Then you pick a complete project, a guy who is probably 2 to 3 years away from being an impact player for you. Noah Esenge is a big guy who wants to be a wing with very little offensive skills. The upside is there, but it's hidden behind years of much needed development. Okay, this is normally where the ugly would be, but this was so bad, it needed a full what the
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
The New Orleans Pelicans. First, let's start with the trade they made before the draft. I love Jordan Poole on the Warriors, but I really haven't liked him since. He's a skinny, shoot-first guard who doesn't play defense well at all and wants the ball in his hands all the time. Just that I would be okay with it for a team needing his skills for a playoff push, but this is not New Orleans. And with their first pick, they drafted Jordan Poole's younger clone in Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma. I am lower on Fears than most. Yes, he's quick and a good finisher, but he is a below average defender, has shot less than 30% on three-pointers his whole life, and is also very young. Like Cooper Flagg, he reclassified and should be entering college next season. Typically, smaller guards take longer to develop at the NBA level than bigger players, and for his development, I wouldn't pick Jordan Poole to be his vet role model. Sorry. That's not even the worst part of their draft.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I came into the draft really high on Derek Queen from Maryland. He's a skilled big man who can pass, shoot, and has great offensive moves. He doesn't play great defense or rebound yet, but the ability is there. Now, how in the world did the Pelicans mess this pick up? Even with him falling to number 13. Well, you trade an unprotected first-round pick in next year's draft to get him. To move up from their 23rd pick to the 13th, the Pelicans gave the Atlanta Hawks the 23rd pick and next year's first-round pick unprotected. Did the Pelicans forget they were really bad this year? That their starting point guard is out with a torn Achilles in DeJounte Murray? That their best player, Zion Williamson, is hurt all the time? And that they play in the loaded Western Conference? Oh, and to make it even worse, next year's draft is projected to be better than this year's. If you just showed me that a team got these two draft picks, I would be pretty excited. A young project of a guard and a highly skilled big man. That's definitely something. But Jordan Poole is possibly the worst basketball role model for Jeremiah Fears. Queen plays the exact same position as their franchise player Zion Williamson. And they share the same deficiencies as players, making them almost impossible to play at the same time. Oh, and again, they gave up next year's unprotected first-round pick. Let me take a breath. If they have a bad season or even improve from this year, they are still competing in the Western Conference. They could improve by 25 wins and still not make the playoffs. So let's say this works out well. Zion stays healthy, Queen looks really good off the bench, and Fears shows some promise. They will still be in the lottery next season. Then your draft pick is sent to Atlanta. Sad day in the Big Easy. I hate focusing on the bad on such a great day for the NBA, so let's hit one more good to end on a high note.
Okay.
The rich get richer. The champs in OKC take Thomas Sorber from Georgetown, and it could not be a more perfect fit. He's long, athletic, a good passer, and a solid defender. Doesn't that sound like every single player the Thunder rolled out there during this playoffs run? I can see him taking over as Chet Holmgren's backup. And there you go. My good, bad, and WTF for the 2025 NBA Draft. 59 dreams came true over these 2 days. Some of these kids will become stars, some will never reach their potential, and some will have long careers. But nobody will ever be able to take away the fact that they were drafted in the 2025 NBA Draft. Congrats to all of them, and I am excited for Summer League and beyond. So how does this draft work with what we just saw in the NBA Finals? Well, check out my video on what the NBA is learning from the NBA Finals of OKC and Indiana. Make sure that if you enjoyed this video, you hit that like button, and hey, if you did like it, subscribe. We're constantly bringing you deep dives into the NBA, and the way that it's changing, you never want to miss an update, so stay tuned to us. Turn on that notification bell too. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.